Glen Campbell, whose hit songs bridged country and pop, dies at 81. Glen Campbell, the sweet-voiced, guitar-picking son of a sharecropper who became a recording, television and movie star in the 1960s and 70s, waged a publicized battle with alcohol and drugs and gave his last performances while in the early stages of Alzheimer's disease, died on Tuesday in Nashville. He was 81. Tim Plumley, his publicist, said the cause was Alzheimer's. Mr. Campbell revealed that he had the disease in June 2011, saying it had been diagnosed 6 months earlier. He also announced that he was going ahead with a farewell tour later that year in support of his new album, Ghost on the Canvas. He and his wife, Kimberly Campbell, told People magazine that they wanted his fans to be aware of his condition if he appeared disoriented on stage. What was envisioned as a 5-week tour turned into 151 shows over 15 months. Mr. Campbell's last performance was in Napa, California, on November 30, 2012, and by the spring of 2014 he had moved into a long-term care and treatment center near Nashville. Mr. Campbell released his final studio album, Adios, in June. The album, which included guest appearances by Willie Nelson, Vince Gill and 3 of Mr. Campbell's children, was recorded after his farewell tour. Continue reading the main story. Advertisement. Continue reading the main story. That tour and the way he and his family dealt with the sometimes painful progress of his disease were chronicled in a 2014 documentary, Glen Campbell, I'll Be Me, directed by the actor James Keach. Former President Bill Clinton, a fellow Arkansas native, appears in the film and praises Mr. Campbell for having the courage to become a public face of Alzheimer's. At the height of his career, Mr. Campbell was one of the biggest names in show business, his appeal based not just on his music but also on his easygoing manner and his apple-cheeked, all-American good looks. From 1969 to 1972 he had his own weekly television show, The Glen Campbell Good Time Hour. He sold an estimated 45 million records and had numerous hits on both the pop and country charts. He was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 2005. Decades after Mr. Campbell recorded his biggest hits, including Wichita Lineman, By the Time I Get to Phoenix and Galveston, all written by Jimmy Webb, his frequent collaborator for nearly 40 years, and Southern Nights, 1977, written by Alan Toussaint, which went to #1 on pop as well as country charts. A resurgence of interest in older country stars brought him back onto radio stations. Like Bobby Gentry, with whom he recorded 2 top 40 duets, and his friend Roger Miller, Mr. Campbell was a hybrid stylist, a crossover artist at home in both country and pop music. A change has come over country music lately, he explained in 1968. They're not shucking it right off the cob anymore. Roger Miller opened a lot of people's eyes to the possibilities of country music, and it's making more impact now because it's earthy material, stories and things that happen to everyday people. I call it people music.